For more on the story, let's welcome in studio former LA resident and actress Candace Cameron Bure. We're so pleased to have you. Welcome to National Report.
I want to say Merry Christmas and play
Merry
Christmas songs right
Merry
now.
Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Right, yeah. Same to you as well. Love your movies, by the way.
We're big fans.
It gets us in the spirit. But we were talking about this whole issue in LA, aside from moving away from movies, but safety.
Absolutely, and it's impacted you personally. Is that right? Just wanting to make sure you feel safe where you live?
Yeah, of course. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I love the city, and yet it's changed so much over the years, and particularly once the pandemic hit and it became very unsafe, we felt, and not the city I grew up in. And so, yeah, we moved out of Los Angeles and live in a much smaller town where people know our names when we go into the grocery store. And it's like this whole new world that I absolutely love.
I'm pretty sure any grocery store, they're going to know your name.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you about, something that I think, and I respect a lot of you, is you speak profoundly about your Christianity. You do so on social media, and you do so in interviews. And this has been such a polarized time, and we've been had the pleasure of a front seat of covering this, right? All through this political season, and we think of some of these talk shows like The View. I think did you co-host that for?
I co-hosted for 2 seasons, 2 presidential elections ago. When Trump became president the first time.
Do you still keep up? Do you watch it?
Very rarely. It's very hard for me to watch it because it's only one view.
Right, exactly. And to that point, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think you wrote this. If we have this control room, I'd like to show it. There's something that you said, this is BBB06. You said, when I was co-hosting The View, I learned firsthand how do I model kindness, particularly with the people who don't agree with me. I wouldn't say it was hostile behind the scenes, but in the moment, it got charged. So when you also have the spotlight on you and millions of people are watching you too, it's kind of like, how do I best represent a Christian in this time?
Yeah.
And for us, and at least for me too, that's what's needed right now. What would you say to maybe for some that are co-hosting on these shows to navigate the waters of, hey, there are 70-something million Americans out there that you're not talking to?
Right. Well, we certainly saw that with the election and seeing this red wave sweep over our nation. And I think so many people, so many of us have been scared to speak out. And I think the way that we do that is always with kindness and respect. That's what I always tried to do on The View. And I don't think you're ever going to change someone's opinion when you're rude to them and bashing them in some way, but like, let's have civil discourse. Let's have a good conversation about it. I can still disagree with you at the end of the day, but we can be respectful. And I think that's how we change the world, and we see where we can bridge together. And I think there are a lot of places that we can. When I walk away, I want to feel like, did I represent Christ well in my spirit? Because I might be the last Christian someone's interacting with that day, and how did I represent Christ well?
Well, that also seems like you would make for a very peaceful and calm and productive movie set. And just based on your experience, and I know you're taking different chapters of your career, right? But when you were in the mix of Hollywood, did you notice that politics came up? I mean, did people discuss it all, or has this been a new thing?
Not really, to be honest. I think that everyone, once you're in the workplace, everyone kind of keeps their opinions more private. I also work a lot in Canada, so politics are very different there.
Tax credit.
Yeah.
And exactly. So, but people still ask me, and I'm always happy to talk to people, whether it's politics, faith, any of that. But I'm not going to just, while I'm working, openly say, let's talk about this, because I want our community to feel good, feel safe, and have a really pleasurable environment to work in.
Yeah, you wish, or at least for me, I wish that everyone was like that. But unfortunately, sometimes even when I go places, the first thing that's brought up is politics.
Right.
It's the last thing I want to talk about, especially
Sure.
being out of work. And I know, Emma, you're into that as well.